Hi guys, and welcome back to Tommy Starcraft. This is your host Tommy with another Starcraft Remastered replay for you guys. Once again, we have a great international engagement here in between these two pro players. So let me just start by introducing the players to you guys. Before that, this game has been played in the year 2019. So pretty recent replay here for you guys. As we are spawning here in the upper right in the white, it is PARFUMETOSS from South Korea. And his opponent spawning here in the upper left in the orange. It is Dandy from Peru, also from the clan Soul, the same clan where Scan is from. So really interesting matchup here, as both players are spawning here on Fighting Spirit. So like I told you, a recent replay from 2019. Also nice skin here for Dandy for his command center. Really looking very great. I believe it is a golden skin here, very nicely looking. So yeah, 4 spawning location map it is. Let's just see exactly what these two pro players have prepared for us. Dandy nicely hiding here a supply depot, I believe it is, in his upper part. So he's not deciding to place it in here just to protect those CVs. Really interesting job here by him, and a nice casual pylon here by PARFUMETOSS. I'm pretty sure that he's going to continue very much with a gateway in here. So yeah, there's that gateway. So no wish for a fast expansion here by both players. No wish to harass early on the enemy. Of course, it's very hard to harass given the fact that it is a 4 spawning location. So you have to be very lucky here with your scouting, as Dandy here from Peru continues with a barracks into this position. Most players at the 11 work account. Most players are still making here more units, as Perfume, I'm just going to call him Perfume here, is continuing here with a with his gas. So a pretty standard open up here by both players. Here's also the gas for Dandy, as the 2-minute mark here is the deciding move here for him to move out here with his scouting SCV. The same can be said here for Perfume. So both players, both pros at the 2-minute mark, just like they have acknowledged in other replays on this channel. This is the pretty standard timer here for your SCV or for your probe to move out here and the scan and search the map here for your enemy. A little bit of an advantage perhaps here for Perfume, as he's heading into the right direction. So sadly here for Dandy, he didn't make it into the right direction. Perhaps he's going to search the lower right and then only moving here in the upper right part here. Now in comes Perfume with his probe. This should be a factory, because like you guys know, many Terrans go into mechanical units. They do build some Marines for some defensively purposes here on the ramp. But in the end, most Terrans really like to go into vultures and tanks. Perhaps later on some Goliaths, if the Protoss goes for carriers, for example. Now the pretty standard open up here by both players. Some Marines are being added. Let's check if the Protoss has that cybernetic score. There it is, nicely being hidden. I can almost click on it. And he's also researching here that Dragoon range, as the first aggression is coming in here towards Dandy. It's one Zealot with backed up here by 1 probe, so he has to out micro here this, but his SimCity is not really that good in here, as he has to pull some SCVs in here. At the same time, he's also placing here another building. What could this be? A supply depot. So this is why he built that supply depot, just to micro those Marines back and forward here in between this ledge. And at the same time, he also takes here 2 SCVs out, but the aggression is not that strong. It's just 1 Zealot with that probe. Finally in comes that Dragoon, but the ramp is nicely being blocked here by 4 Marines and 2 SCVs, as Perfume decides to retreat here a little bit with his probe and also his 2 units in here. So slowly but steadily we're closing it at the 5-minute mark. There's that add-on, there's the first siege tank being built, as of course Dandy is playing it nicely defensively in here, leaving this 1 SCV here in the front to be the tank and just tank the first shots here from Perfume. Perfume also nicely placing here his units. Perhaps he wishes to know exactly when Dandy is expanding, or if he is expanding. The SCV is being chased away by this 1 Dragoon, but I'm pretty sure that he saw the timing here from this expansion. Let's check the main here from the Protoss. Just another pylon in here, no aggression yet, so but there is another Dragoon coming in here, and luckily here for Dandy he also has that siege tank. No siege ability yet, but this tank can take some shots here into this position, so Perfume has to be careful. So here he comes, already taking some damage in here and immediately retreating. So a nice move here by Dandy, abusing here this high ledge. Of course the Protoss has no vision in here as he retreats, and this 1 SCV is still being left here behind But look at that, how many marines. He actually has 8 marines, so he might try a move out here. He might even take an SCV with him, and perhaps going to try to do a bunker rush in here. And even another marine is being added, so he has 9 marine, I believe it is. It looks like, yes, it looks like 9 marine with 2 tanks, so very strong push out here by Dandy. No repairing SCVs being added, however a vulture is also on his way, and there is this probe. He's going to see this, so he knows exactly what's coming towards his main. That's exactly why he has a nice beeline here being placed by 5 dragoons. Remember, they have range. Probes are immediately being pulled, but the first probes already fallen. 2 probes, 3, 4, so many probes. Let's just check that worker count. Look at that, 20 probes only here for perfume. Some marines have fallen here as well, and now then he tries to kill one of that dragoon, but it's nicely being microed. And yeah, perfume holds with a nice push in, with a nice pull in here of those probes. So really great job here by him, but also losing some mining time, and he did lose some workers in the end. All of those marines have fallen, so it's a pretty fair trade here. But in the end, yeah, that expansion here from perfume is much faster here than the expansion here from Dandy, so he might have a smaller economic advantage, even though he did lose so many workers, so he has to rebuild those workers. Dandy already had 30 workers versus the 25 here for perfume, as Dandy is retreating now at home and even placing more and more factories here. So nice vulture is being placed in here, but it will be of course immediately getting out. And look at that, so many factories now being added here by Dandy, so he will very strongly transition into mechanical build orders in here. So the more the better tanks here for him. A nice spreaded vulture in here, just placing this mine into this position just to check that expansion. Also notice these 2 nicely placed mines in here just to fend off a army move out here by the Protoss. So this will of course force the Protoss to go into that observer. There is that observer nicely being added here by perfume. Let's just check his main really quick. So yeah, just 3k gateways in here. Nice beeline out of pylons being placed in here as he's slowly but steadily clearing those mines in here. And now that siege tank, so very late research here for Dandy, but I'm pretty sure he knows exactly what he's doing. As soon as those dragoons will reach this ledge, he will of course have siege tank ability, and that is of course going to fend off this attack in here. In comes that observer. He's going to see of course this mine, but Dandy also thinking about that he had the tier 8 turret also to detect some Dark Templars in case there will be a Dark Templar push. At the same time nicely placing here a turret into this position, so playing it really nicely defensively in case the Protoss decides to come in here with a shuttle, with a Reaver. He can react here really fast, as there's so many dragoons in here for perfume, but no zealots yet being added. There comes that shuttle. Let's just see exactly what it's carrying. There are those zealots, so if he drops those zealots into this position, he will deal so much splash damage in here. There are no mines into this position. That would have been even better here for the Protoss, just to deal splash damage. But hold on, we have a nice engagement in here. However, there's so many siege tanks, 3, even 4, and in comes this one shuttle, but it's just filled with zealots in here already, taking so much damage in here. So I don't think he's going to drop, as Dandy is ready for that with those tanks, with that one vulture. This shuttle is in some serious trouble here, already taking so much damage. He really should unload really quick, or perhaps go for those SCVs. At the same time, it's not going to push in here, so let's just see exactly what perfume is going for. Needs to be careful, there's even a turret in here, so he tries to out micro this one shuttle in here, but he's just buying time perhaps for his economy in here, as he's actually retreating here with those dragoons out on the map. This shuttle is still not making anything happen in here, so not dropping here, just buying some time, just trying to be as annoying as possible, and of course just forcing here Dandy to stay at home with some units just to defend those SCVs in here. So pretty good job here defensively by Dandy, and also perfume nicely being annoying in here with this one shuttle, as Dandy still doesn't know what his shuttle is carrying. It could of course be a Reaver, but it's just 3 zealots in here. So nice job. Still no anti-air here for Dandy, so no Goliaths of course, as he's just making tanks with vultures in here, as we have a nice placed turret in here. So this shuttle will soon be in some serious trouble. Then they're still pushing here back and forward with those tanks, just forcing perhaps a drop in here by Perfume. At the same time, he's preparing an army move out, as I see on the map. But at the same time, Perfume also having only Dragoons in here, so no Zealots interesting enough here for him. Those Dragoons, if Dandy protects his tanks really nicely with those Vultures, he will of course obliterate all of those Dragoons. And yeah, the Dragoons have to of course retreat in here, as Dandy is pushing out here at the 10-minute mark. One Dragoon already very low, and even those siege tanks will deal of course so much splash damage. Notice that Dandy also carried here 3 SCVs. Finally the Zealots have fallen in here, they have dropped, but they're pretty much being ignored here by Dandy, as Dandy is starting here a very strong push here towards the main here from Perfume. Let's just see if these 3 Zealots are going straight for that turret. But there's 3 Vultures, even 4 Vultures here, so 1 turret has fallen. But Dandy will of course nicely defend here this location, as Perfume has to regroup. Finally there are some Zealots in here for him. They will take so much splash damage out of those tanks, but the Vultures are nicely being placed here in the front. Finally the Zealots do get some good connections, but there's just so many tanks in here for Dandy. Of course some splash damage has been dealt towards his own tanks, but so many Vultures are being added, both players at almost same supply in here. And also notice how Dandy is placing here a turret just in case the enemy goes for not the observer but also some DTs would have been a good idea here. And there's that one DT, and look at that nice splash damage here out of the DT, just dealing so much splash damage here against those Vultures, cloaking up those mines. Good scan in here by Dandy as he keeps just pushing forward and forward, and slowly but steadily Perfume might be in some serious trouble in here, as those tanks are pushing forward. We have the 12-minute mark in here. Dandy in a little bit of Perfume in some trouble in here, as those Vultures are nicely defending here those tanks, and he has to of course retreat in here. So much is being added now here by Dandy. Those turrets are of course really nice for him just against those Dark Templars, and he just keeps on pushing forward in here. So let's just see if Perfume has an answer. Perhaps he has a Arbiter in the making. Finally more and more is being pushed out here by Dandy. So much splash damage, those tanks are not even being touched here by the troops here from Perfume, and the pylons will of course fall in here as the expansion is in already some trouble. Those probes are being transferred at home. Interesting enough, they are moving very slow in here. So in comes the first Arbiter in here, but what can he do? Can he cast some stasis traps in here? He will of course make those units invisible, but then he's thinking about that. He did add a turret into this position. Once again this one Zealot will deal so much splash damage here against the units here from Dandy. However, Dandy nicely sniping that, killing that Zealot, and this turret right here is a very good position for him, as he will of course detect the invisible Zealots that are coming towards him. Even adding here another turret. At the same time Perfume is laying some units into this position, but if you look at the worker count, Dandy already at 46 workers versus the 33 here for Perfume. This shuttle is empty. Of course it did drop those Zealots, not that much being of a damage being dealt here by those Zealots, just 2 turrets being killed. So Dandy looking in a very strong position in here, even has 3 turrets now in here, 4. So really nice push here by him. A good lesson if you're a Terran: always keep some turrets with you if you're against a Protoss, as they will detect those invisible Dark Templars and even detect those observers, those annoying observers. Really nice push here by Dandy as he stays into this position. And let's have a look if PARFUMETOSS has an answer. Perhaps he's going to try a drop in here, a recall with this one Arbiter in here, but Dandy even prepared for that. Look at that, his economy is so strong. He does have some turrets in here and even gets spotted here by this one Vulture. So a really hard game here for PARFUMETOSS, as he's also having here an observer. So things look very strong here for Dandy, as perhaps Perfume is going to try to relocate into this position, to recall into that position. Let's just see. Dandy still holding here his position really nicely, and this Arbiter perhaps tried to recall into this position, but there was no expansion here for Dandy. So another Arbiter is being added here. Perhaps he's just waiting here for this energy to kick in. Dandy also nicely scouting this position, but there is no expansion. Finally there is that shuttle with this expansion attempt here by Perfume. I did lost track of the other arbiter in here. But yeah, Dandy doing a really nice job here, exploring the map, noticing exactly what is going on here with his opponent, even having a nice strong army here into his main, nice spreaded siege tanks, nice mines, just in case the Protoss goes for a recall. Notice how Dandy has placed all of those mines here defensively, so if a recall is happening, these mines will deal so much damage here against the Protoss army. So finally Dandy should feel here very confident to move out. There is his army move out here already at 130 supply here. Even the observer has fallen. Now Dandy knows of course that there is an expansion here into this position, so pretty soon he will of course have to decide where he's going to attack. It's very hard to attack into this position. There's just so much Protoss in here just to defend here this ledge. But he might split here his troops, he might try and attack into this position. Some dropships would have been a good idea, but it's of course too late for that. He has a science vessel into the making, perhaps just to detect those invisible units. At the same time he's also expanding into this position. This expansion also giving him nice sight in case there is a army move out coming in. So here we go, vultures are in the front with speed. Some mines will be added in here. No mines yet, as he's moving here forward with those siege tanks, even having some Goliaths. Perhaps he's going to scan. Yes, there's that nice scan here into this position, really dealing damage here against those dragoons. And this one arbiter already taking so much damage in here, so Perfume not paying attention. A nice recall now. Look at that, a great recall here by Perfume, but I think that's Dandy just has way too much. No, hold on, he's actually being fended off in here, so really nice recall, defensive recall this time here by PARFUMETOSS, and he's going to surround of course those tanks. So great job here by him. No upgrades yet here for him, no upgrades for Dandy either, as Dandy is repositioning here his vultures, perhaps to save some of those tanks. And let's just see what is going to happen in here, as I see the reinforcements coming in here for Dandy on the map. He's even taking some of these forces, actually all of those forces, and we might see a strong engagement in here. Goliaths going straight for this one arbiter, taking it down. The siege tanks have come back from the Ice Age, and here we have actually Dandy moving out, or with so many vultures here in the front. Dandy Perfume tries to go on the high ground just to have that advantage, but those siege tanks are already sieging up here, and they will of course see this expansion really soon with that scan. And yeah, Dandy in a very commanding position in here. There's only one arbiter, however he goes straight now for those workers. Perfume dropping below the 30 worker count really soon. Nice stasis trap here, but the reinforcements are pouring in here for Dandy, and this looks very hard now here for Perfume to hold. Good scans here by Dandy. He still has no science vessel. He really needs a science vessel in here just to see those units. And finally he's moving here forward. Another scan goes out. The expansion has finally fallen here for him, and yeah, there is Perfume trying to transfer some of those workers, but in the end, look at the worker count. Of course, this has to be the GG for PARFUMETOSS, as Dandy taking it very strong, with a very strong timing push here by the Terran. Really nice game here by him. Let's just check those stats really quickly, as I'm once again going to be clicking left and right for you guys in case you're interested. So Peru versus South Korea in here, 2019. A nice victory here for Peru, a nice victory here for Dandy. Really nice game here by him. Nice job, great control, and a very aggressive timing push out here for him, giving him the victory here against PARFUMETOSS. So once again, a nice Terran versus Protoss. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be seeing you of course in the next replay. This is Tommy signing out.